Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ShadowSphere. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the ShadowSphere. Today, I am joined by a content creator, a hostess within the wrestling community. They are Kai. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I am trying to live the best I can with this amazing wildfire we got going on up here in Ontario.
Yeah.
It has not been fun.
I have not been outside much because I don't think my lungs would be able to handle it. So I've kind of just been hibernating in my house for the past day or two.
I don't blame you, and I don't think it's going to let up anytime soon. Hopefully, we get the help into the Northern Ontario that we need, but until then, we hope everybody's okay. So let's dive into it. What got you involved in wrestling from the creator point before we get into the rest of it?
So from a creator point, I started going to indie shows in 2023, and then 2024 was like when I started traveling. And I just thought it'd be cool to like help get the word around about like certain wrestlers and just share like everything they've been doing basically. And I just started sharing my friends' matches. Like I made my own YouTube videos. I filmed their matches. I made like really cool like graphic covers. Like if they didn't have like a match graphic, I would make my own basically. I'd put their matches on YouTube just to try to help get them more recognition. And that's basically it. I just kept content creating, and I believe that just led me to what I'm doing today.
I love that. I mean, similar to how I started, me and Scals started with a Discord server that a bunch of us talked in, and me and Scals came up with the idea to start off the top media one day, being like, "Hey, why aren't we talking about this online?" And then now it's evolved to the point where I'm now interviewing a bunch of wrestlers and content creators, and I'm having fun doing it.
Yeah.
There's a group of you though. There's not just you. For a while there was a group of you going around to different shows, right?
I think mostly it was just me. I met a few friends through different like wrestling related activities. So one of my friends I met at the Remix Rumble in Toronto. They did a couple years ago, and then I started kind of bringing him with me to shows. And then I met another person through like WWE and AEW, and I just try to get as many people as I can to go to indie shows because I always say that indie wrestling is a lot better than the televised product a lot of the time. And I genuinely right now am more of a fan of indie wrestling than I am with like WWE and AEW and TNA and all like the major promotions. So I always try to bring friends with me to indies and just kind of try to get them hooked on the indies.
Fair enough. And I mean, my introduction to you was through our mutual friend in Hope Division.
Yep.
And I met also Brood Edge through Hope,
Yep.
which he's a menace on.
He is. I told him we were doing this, and I told him that I was doing an interview, and he's like, "I'm gonna call you." So I blocked him, and I was like, "No, you're not," because I know
See, he's a
I know he definitely would try to FaceTime me while I'm doing this interview.
So your fandom starts off as one would. Um, I'm assuming you were a young child that loving WWE or maybe WCW or AEW or not AEW, TNA.
So I think a lot of people think I was a wrestling fan, and I have mentioned this previously. I was never a wrestling fan. I
Okay.
didn't. Yeah, everybody's like, but you love it so much, and I was like, there was a time in my life where I didn't get it, I didn't understand it, and I was just like, I don't understand why people like this. And then my uncle at the time, he was living with us, and he would always watch like SmackDown and Raw, and I was like, I don't know how he can watch this. And then one night I was like, I'll just sit down, see if I like it, whatever. And then think I watched like an episode of SmackDown, and then I was like, wait, I'm like, this is actually like this is kind of cool. Like I knew like they follow a script and whatever, but I was like, this is like really really cool. And then it was basically me slowly getting into WWE, going to house shows, like for the first couple years that I started watching, I was a big fan of women's wrestling. I still am a big fan of women's wrestling. And I like immediately the first person that I loved watching was Becky Lynch. And when I first started watching wrestling, I was going through a super dark point in my life. I had really bad anxiety. I was heavily depressed. And I truly think that watching wrestling and especially like getting to see like Becky and all these women do their things, I was like, that's so cool. And it immediately just kind of got me out of that funk. And then yeah, I've met Becky twice now, and I've told her, I'm like, you have saved my life. Like I genuinely do not think I would still be here if I didn't get into wrestling, and basically have not fallen in love with women's wrestling. So basically, I thanked her for that. And then, yeah, I just started getting into other shows. I started getting into AEW, started getting, more recently got into TNA in the past year or so. And then, yeah, but I have always said, like, indie wrestling, like, all the indies will have my heart forever. That is, like, my main priority with anything I do wrestling. And that's where my heart currently lies right now.
I did the complete opposite. Like I was a big WWE guy forever, and unfortunately, in 2023, I lost my idol, which is Bray.
Yep.
And when Bray passed, I became very jaded, and I became very unwanting to be watching it.
Yeah.
No ambition to watch it. And it is growing worse. And then I found the indies because everybody's always talking, oh, indie wrestling this, indie wrestling that. And I just never, I always thought it still is carny shit,
Yeah.
right? As or just whatever. But then I actually went to some shows and then I started falling in love with it. And then I stumbled upon this company called Canadian Deathmatch. And I've got to talking to them and I've been to shows and I've watched their stuff. And now I'm just all in.
Yeah.
Like, like you said, the indies is where it's at.
Yep.
You feel so much more a part of the show than when you go to a WWE show
Yeah.
or AEW. Um, but me and you have had conversations. We're not going to mention names, but some people have made you the realm of pro wrestling. And we're not going to dive into that because we don't need to rehash that. But as a female content creator and worker in the business now, do you have issues with males and females coming up to you in senses that you don't want them to?
Not not really, not anymore. When I first started doing like the interviewing and stuff, I kind of just didn't feel like I really belonged doing it. Like I didn't feel like I belonged like in a locker room, and I didn't feel like I just felt like didn't need to be there. Like I didn't deserve to be there. I kind of was thinking like,
Impossible, they call it.
yeah, I was kind of like thinking like, oh, why are all these opportunities being handed to me? I haven't done anything special. Like my dream job is interviewing. That has been my dream job since high school. I knew I wanted to do journalism. I knew that I wanted to do something in the journalism category, and I just didn't think that it would come to me as quickly as it did. I'm like, I didn't go to college. I didn't get a college degree. I finished my education after high school. Like, I just thought, I can't do that unless I have like a college or university degree. So just getting that opportunity, which was a spur of the moment thing, it was kind of shocking. And even sometimes now, I'm like, I've there's been really cool things that I've done and that I will be doing, and I sometimes I kind of am like, I still don't know how I'm doing it kind of thing, but I've been super fortunate and super grateful to work on many incredible shows with a lot of my friends, and I am just super excited for all the future opportunities that I will get. And yeah.
Well, everything I've seen that you've done, whether it be the interviews, content, you do an amazing job. You're really good at it.
Thank you.
Don't let you're really, really good at it.
Thank you.
Um,
Appreciate that.
speaking of going to shows with friends and stuff,
Yeah.
there's one friend in particular I want to talk about, and they're not human per se, but they are a crocheted version of said person that you guys refer to as Small Samuels.
Small Samuels. So
So
yes,
I'd love to hear that.
yeah. So Small Samuels was actually made by King Womp. Her name is Elisa. She's from the States, so she has been a fan of Brian Samuels way longer than I have, because I've only known Brian for about, maybe, believe it's been a year now that I've known Brian. But she crocheted Small Sam, and then she also crocheted one for our favorite deathmatch janitor, Billy. But yeah, she crocheted Small Sam, and it was basically just a gift that was gifted to Brian, and then he just started using Small in certain shows. So he used him at the one Canadian Deathmatch show, and we have we kind of have him in a little bit of a storyline with him at one of the promotions that I work for, UCW. And he's basically just become more over than Brian Samuels himself. But yeah, we love Small Samuels, and I wish I had him here, but he is with Brian.
That Small Samuels has held the off the top championship, which is currently held by Deathmatch Wrestler Hardcore. Maybe we'll set up a match someday between those two. That'd be entertaining. Um, but I've also heard that Kyle has done the voice for Small Samuels.
Yes,
I have
Kyle
seen
is the voice
pictures.
of Small Samuels, and sometimes it's Kyle, I believe. Sometimes who else does it? Wade Allen, I believe, has tried to do the voice. I have also tried to do the voice, and I have successfully failed in that. So I am no longer the voice for Small Sam. So it is usually that Kyle.
I've also seen affectionately known by me as Baby Gap Matt Grant with beating him up.
Yeah, that's his favorite thing. I don't know why. I think Matt Grant likes to beat up small things.
I'm not even nope. I'm gonna leave that joke alone. But speaking of Matt Grant, him and his lovely wife are very close to you.
Yes.
Share the story of how it became about and how you affectionately call them your parents.
um so I believe I actually started talking to Matt at, I want to say, either GCW or PWO. And then the one night we went to a show, I think, and he was just like, hey, you can come crash on our couch. So I was like, oh, okay. So now their living room couch is my couch now, and I kind of just sleep there pretty much almost every weekend. And then we realized that I go there so much that they gave me a key to the apartment, and I don't know why, and I don't know how I convinced them to do that, but they gave me a key. And then recently we have made like a little section in the in their kitchen cupboard for like all the food that I eat. So they have all their stuff, and then I just have like my little bottom shelf of food and snacks and stuff. Um, but yeah, I suffer through like a lot of health issues, so traveling for me, especially now, is super duper rough. So it's basically every time that I travel, they're basically like, "Hey, you can crash on the couch, like if you need a place to like stay." Because going from like normally I could do like Niagara Falls to Toronto or a little bit further. Now with everything going on, it's super hard for me to travel like back and forth all the time. So we kind of just have a halfway point, and I kind of just crash on their couch if I need to. But yeah, the past couple months, they have helped me immensely. The February and March were super rough for me. I was going through a lot of stuff, so just having kind of like a safe place that I could stay at and that like I kind of needed a break from. They were there and they offered that, and I've told them that I'm forever grateful for that. And yeah, they have just adopted me as their child, and they always take care of me. And they're like, "Yeah, we got to feed our kid." Like just things like a parent would do, but not my actual parents. But yeah, super grateful for them, and they honestly they've been there for me through a bunch of stuff, and I am super grateful for that.
You just alluded to the fact that you were dealing with health issues. More recently on Instagram, you had kind of gone into about those health issues. Excuse me as I stumble over my words there. Um, if you want, you can share it again here. If not, totally move on past it. But I think it's something that obviously affects your day to day. And if you wish to talk about it, that's fine. If you don't, I totally respect that.
No, yeah, I can definitely talk about it. I've kept it basically to myself for a few months, and the only people that knew about it were my close friends. So I suffer with a few chronic illnesses. So I have, for 10 years, I've struggled with chronic gastrointestinal issues. And more recently, I have been suffering with, I have heat insensitivity. So if my body temperature gets super duper hot, I will break out in a rash. I will feel it. It's basically like heat stroke, but I'm more susceptible to getting it. Like normal people will just be like, okay, like heat exhaustion or whatever. I get extreme heat exhaustion, and it also triggers a bunch of my other flare ups as well with my GI and with, I also have hemiplegia, which is basically they first described it as migraines, and it is no longer migraines, and it is basically symptoms of a stroke, but without having like the actual like stroke, if that makes sense. So so when you have like an actual stroke, like your face droops, your arm goes numb, whatever. I uh Basically my body goes numb, and I zone out, I dissociate, and I am basically like not there. Some people have thought that maybe it's an absence seizure, which it could be. Like I don't know anything when I am in one of those episodes. I am very forgetful as is, so having one of those episodes, it makes it like super hard to remember everything. And I've had, I think like I've this year just alone I've had, want to say, two or three. And I actually had one. Not many people know this. I actually had one after the last death match show. So I went back to Matt Grant's, and I basically just zoned out on the couch. And his wife was like, "Are you good?" And I was like, I kind of just looked at her and I was like, "Not really." And then like she knew. She was like, "Oh, is it your hemiplegia?" And I was like, I think so, because I don't remember anything in the last 10 minutes. So explaining it to people it's super, super hard. It's more right now, like the heat flare-ups, like I get super hot. There's certain shows I can't go to in the summer anymore because their venues are hot and it'll trigger it. Like for example, I can't do like Northern Crown shows in the summer because it's in a brewery and breweries get super duper hot. So basically, like any shows in a brewery, I can't do. If they don't have proper air conditioning, I can't do. A lot of the times at shows, like you'll see me with like a spray bottle and a fan, like just trying to keep my body temperature cool because like I can be outside in the heat, but not for long.
Right.
It's mainly like I tell people it's mainly like my internal body temperature. Like I could just be sitting doing nothing and I will start to get hot. Like it's just my body being like just sending me like a weird sign. And yeah, so just traveling to shows has been hard, and then that's why I kind of have that like halfway point because I'm like I can't travel from Niagara Falls to Toronto, or I can't travel from Niagara Falls to like even if I do like a show in Hamilton, I usually just stay in Hamilton because I don't want to put so
Right.
much, so I don't want to overwork myself where I have a flare up because I've had flare ups at shows and they absolutely suck the life out of me. But yeah, it's something that I deal with, and it. I'll be honest, the past few months it has definitely impacted my mental health. But like I said in my post, I keep going because like I want to live my life before like my body might not let me live my life anymore. So I do what I can, and I know it triggers the flare ups. Sometimes they just happen randomly, but I do what I can, and I still try to live my life.
So the condition that you're dealing with, I know that you explained what it is, but is it something similar to onset or early onset of MS in a way?
So I haven't been to the doctors to like check that out or anything. It is definitely something I look into asking my doctor about because I've noticed that a lot of the symptoms also kind of match like symptoms of MS. So it's definitely something that I'm trying to look into. I am currently waiting for a test result for a completely different issue. And then once I get that result, I'm going to talk to my doctor about, hey, like I have heat insensitivity and I'm having all these flare ups. So I'm hoping that one day, hopefully, I can get answers. But the last time I got any kind of answer for my the hemiplegia, they didn't really say much. So we're gonna try again, hopefully soon, and hopefully I can get some concrete answers.
Um, Given the fact that, like you said, the health issues, it obviously doesn't slow you down. Like it does, but it doesn't slow you down mentally. You're still grinding, you're still going, and that sounds extremely difficult to navigate. And kudos to you. I know that that's probably the stupidest thing you've heard today about that, but going through such a thing that would take a lot of people down and out.
Yeah.
That being said, I want to get into what are some of the companies you've worked for? Some you've maybe left, some you've really dove into. I personally know one you left, but that's not my story to share. Um, but yeah, can you tell us a little bit more about your wrestling background and like companies you worked for and stuff?
Yeah, so basically getting into the interviewing part of it, I basically was just sharing like certain show posters, being like, hey, buy your tickets for the show. The show's pretty cool. And I shared one for Magnificent Championship Wrestling in Brantford. And I went to a show one day and the promoter was like, hey, like, would you want to do anything like anything extra? Like, what would you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And then I just threw the idea out there. I was like, I think it'd be cool, like, if there's like a backstage interview or like something along those lines. And he's like, well, do you want to try it? And I was like, yes, kind of. And then he was like, okay, so come to the next show and then we'll set you up with interviews. And I was like, oh, I was like, okay, that was easier than I thought that was going to be. So went to the next show. am currently working with Magnificent Championship Wrestling, which is in Brantford. I do UCW, which is in Etobicoke/Toronto. And then I also do Hybrid Championship Wrestling, which is in Dunnville. And then I was also with Norfolk Wrestling, but I am no longer with them.
Fair. Maybe I just associated you, and I will talk about this openly. You don't, because it is an issue that arose, but you were going to a lot of Destiny shows until somebody showed up on the card that a lot of people don't agree with being allowed to be on cards.
Yes.
I didn't personally go to this, but as someone that attended a lot of these events, like, tell me, like, why? Obvious reasons, but tell me why it left such a bad taste in your mouth.
So I was at that show that individual was at, and this was when I was like still getting into the wrestling scene, so I didn't really know any of the like international international wrestlers. So people, when my because I was with my friend was like, "Ooh," and I was like, "Ooh, like what's that? Ooh," and then he told me about everything that happened with him, and I was like, "Ooh," and then and a couple days later, like I read tweets that people were leaving that promotion and everything kind of transpired, and I want to say that I have no hate for the person who runs Destiny. I interact with him a lot. He is a very nice guy. I just think it might have just been a bad booking decision, which I'll completely agree that it was a bad booking decision. And then yeah, I don't think after that I've been to any Destiny shows. It was kind of I'll see like who they book. Like if it's somebody I actually want to meet, then I'll go. And then I don't think I ended up going. I think my last Destiny show was in 2024 because it's 2026 now, so like probably end of 2024, and that was before like I believe everything happened. But I there's better promotions that I could go to, so like not going to one promotion didn't really damper me or anything. And yeah, I have no hate with that promotion, no hate with the promoter, but I just think that it was a bad booking decision, and it kind of just made me kind of distant from them for a while.
Fair enough. And I don't mean to hash old stories. Just something I know, right? Um, Now, me and you said you started up in the community around 22, 23 ish, you said, right?
For the indies, yes, but I've been a wrestling fan since 2017, 2017, 2018.
I, okay. Um, this just alludes to this part. So I know, because I know Hope from TikTok, you know Hope from TikTok. I don't remember seeing much of your TikTok stuff. I remember seeing a lot of your Twitter stuff and a lot of your Instagram stuff. But me and you both, we're in the GTA, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, we know that there's a lot of content creators within the GTA. Some are massively successful, some are very sketchy. Have you had any bad interactions with any of them? I don't want names, and we don't need to dive into subject matter, but have you had bad interactions with some content creators around the GTA?
Um, Not really. I've interacted with like Conman a lot. He's a super nice guy. I've interacted with she's not Canadian, but I've interacted with Wheezy a lot. She's pretty cool. I've only had one like weird interaction, I think, with like one content creator, and I don't need to bring up the name of who it is, but
Right.
he got outed for a bunch of weird stuff, but I kind of distanced myself from him, and yeah, just basically everybody else has been super cool. Um, yeah, I've only had really like one weird experience with somebody.
Now, I don't ask this because to sound sexist, of course. I just ask this because obviously industries, male, females, very different interactions.
Yeah.
Like there's just no way around that. It's just the way the world is, and it's unfortunate we all completely the same. We're not. But like to your point, Conman, great guy. Uh, Lex, aka Wheezy, she's a sweetheart. Santi though, he has to be probably the biggest one to come out of here.
Yeah. I don't think I've actually ever interacted with Santi.
Yeah, he
I've
owes
seen
me
him
a steel there.
I've seen him at shows, but I don't think I've ever actually like interacted with him. But he also seems pretty cool. I've definitely have seen him at shows, but even like a bunch of the like the content creators I see, they don't really attend indie shows.
Which is weird, right?
Yeah, which is why
Maybe
I
me
was
and you
kind
are
of
doing the
like,
right smart thing, right? We're going the opposite way of them.
yeah, that's why I was like, I feel like I have to like, if I'm content creating, I feel like I have to like share what these wrestlers are doing just so they can try to get their name out, because the only people who know their names are people who have seen them at shows.
Right. I have some really good friends now, like yourself, from different promotions, more northern. Um, One you do know in Rush Rancid. He's a friend of mine. I don't know if you've ever met or seen Rusty Blackwell on a card.
I don't think so. I've heard of the name. I don't think I've seen Rusty wrestle.
I, I actually just seen him today. Actually, he's in my town today. He's doing something else, and we and him went for coffee and we caught up, and that was fun. He just appeared on Mystery Pro Wrestling there in
Oh,
the Royal Rumble.
oh yes, I actually did watch that. I do remember him being in that.
So that's cool. But like, it's such a weird for me, growing up wrestling fan and just everything. And I'm sure you now being a small fandom in the recent last decade, nothing
Yes.
wrong with that. You love what you love when you start loving it. I'm never going to challenge that. But it's kind of cool to sit back and be like, man, I got cool friends that do cool things.
Yeah.
Now, I seen you just recently at Sneaky D's back in June,
Yes.
very close to the action. And
Yes.
the one action I noticed the most that I seen you actually completely turn away from is when Jesse Amato took two needles to the mouth.
Yeah.
I seen you completely 180 and face that wall.
I
Why?
think I think I think me and Jessie Mack both turned around because she also doesn't like syringes.
Speaking of Jesse Mack, what a at new noise to join the industry.
Yeah.
Did not
That
see that.
that Matt Grant, he's yeah, he's very conniving, that one. I was also very surprised about that heel turn with Jesse.
So who or you to Germania a year and a half ago to be like, hey, I'm going to check out these boys that are doing Canadian Deathmatch?
So the first Canadian deathmatch show that I went to was actually St. Catharines, which is very, very close to my house. And I was like, you know what? I was like, let's just go see what it's about. Like I know it's weapons, I know people bleed, and I was like, let's just go. I also brought my friend, and that was my friend's first wrestling match.
Okay.
Was a death match. I was like, if there was a wrestling show you would want to go to, what show would you go to? And she doesn't watch wrestling like nothing, but she said she wanted to go to a show. And I was like, well, I'm going to a show on like the 18th of May, but people are going to bleed and there's weapons. I don't know how you feel about that. And then she was like, yeah, I'll go. And I was like, oh, okay. Wild, but okay. So we went. It was pretty cool. It was the first time that like I saw, Brian Samuels, and I'm pretty sure that was like the first like real match besides HPW shows that like I saw like Wade Allen wrestling and like hardcore and all them. And I'm like these guys are crazy. Like I thought just normal wrestling would hurt. Like, no, they're taking everything. They're taking light tubes. They're taking gusset plates, like everything. And I was like, I don't know how you guys do this. And then immediately I was hooked. And then I just kept going back to Canadian Deathmatch. And I've seen really cool matches. I've probably definitely bled by accident once at a Canadian Deathmatch show, but that was my own fault because I'm sometimes silly. And I was like, I saw the like cheese grater crutch, and I was like, oh, that's not. I was like, oh, that's not sharp, and then I just ran my whole finger out over it, and then I'm like, oh, I'm bleeding. It is sharp. It's like the one
Uh,
time I gigged for the gram.
so like I'm kind of like you in that sense. The indie scene is still very fresh to me, and I'm still learning a lot, especially with what I'm doing with these interviews. But I always like to sit down with creators like yourself, and because you do these kind of things, you have the same perspective as I do in a sense. So like when we get to go and experience um, the indie shows, it's not. Sometimes it's work, sometimes it's not. But is it ever work because we're both loving just what we're doing?
I say yes. So more recently, I've been going to shows to actually scout out talent to book for promotions I work for. I got to see Layla Wild, who is from Montreal and or Ottawa, and she is an absolute powerhouse, and I actually helped to bring her into our upcoming UCW show. I told the promoter, I'm like, you got to book her. I'm like, she's going to be like she's already a star. Like we need to have her. So she's on our show, and I've just been like, even like international talent, like people who come in for like Smash Wrestling and like a couple of the other shows like Alpha One and stuff. I kind of just scout them out, and I see like how they are in the ring and see if they would be a good fit for the promotions that I work for, and that's basically how I bring people in.
Hold up. You work with Alpha One?
I don't work with Alpha One.
Okay, I was gonna say, hold
No,
up.
that'd be
The
cool, but I don't work with
pause.
Alpha. I don't work with Alpha One, but like I've
I
seen
was like,
people.
I got a big timer here, ladies and gentlemen.
No, I've seen people at Alpha One that I would like love to bring in.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Uh, so back to my point though, we're doing things we love. You said earlier when you first started doing it and doing the backstage stuff and doing the interviews, you felt, I'll use uneasy for the lack of term that I can come to, but I've been told um, what I'm feeling in those senses, and like you did, is it's an imposter syndrome because you feel like you've never done enough. But in reality, we've both paid our dues. We're both paying our dues. We're doing it the right way. We're not rushing anybody. We're not bugging anybody. But like, I feel you there. It's a weird thing. Like when I just went to New Noise in at Sneaky D's, thank God is being saved. Um, just standing in a circle with the boys outside. That to me was the craziest thing ever. My cousin's like, you just talk to them like they're just that. I'm like, they're just normal people.
Yeah. I've met a lot of like really cool people through the indies. I've Majority of my best friends currently are from the indies. I've um One of my best friends, like she's currently inactive because she is having a baby, but we traveled everywhere together. Like we've traveled to Winnipeg together. We went to Winnipeg Pro because she wrestled on that show. We've done like shows in Quebec. I went like and surprised her in Quebec for her birthday. Like I've met really cool people through the indies, and I am forever grateful for the people that I have met and interacted with because they're genuinely my favorite people on earth. And indie wrestlers are like so sweet. Like even if they're heels, like they are literal teddy bears in real life. So I'm super super grateful for the people I've met, and yeah.
I mean, back in excuse me, back in April, I have heard of Wade Allen. I have seen the images of Wade, but that man was arguably the nicest man I met that day. And like just chit chatting with him at the last show and just even on it online, Guy is such a sweetheart.
He is, yeah, and he is very funny. Like there was like one show where I was like having the worst day ever, and he would just try to make me laugh, like just to try to help get me out of that funk. So yeah, he's a super super nice guy, and he's very very funny.
For sure. Now, this is a little fun that I gotta have because you have many friends, Shree, but I gotta ask, out of all of them, who's number one?
Oh no. um. So I'll always say Bia Moss. She was one of my she was just one of my very like kind of first friends that I've met in the indies. It was basically her and Casey Spinelli. Casey Spinelli was my first best friend, and I would just always get to see Spinelli like locally and everything. And then uh, I met Bia at a wrestling show. I met her at NXT, and she's just super sweet. Like I just told her, I'm like, hey, like you had a great match. Like the one time, like in my city, like I'm glad that you got to face my best friend. And then we just became best friends. So I would definitely, it's probably always gonna is always gonna be Bia because she's been there. She is a friend that has definitely healed me in life, and she is just such a positive energy to be around. So I would definitely say Bia. And then
Okay.
Matt and Aaron are very, very close seconds.
As much as I give Matt shit, that man, that man is a workhorse. I
He
see
is.
all the time doing something. Sometimes multiple shows a day.
Yep.
I really hope he catches his break because he is somebody that definitely deserves it.
Yeah, he has been working very, very hard, and he has faced really big names in the past. He is going to be facing more big names coming up in the next few weeks. So I'm really proud of him for all the work he's been putting in. He's doing an incredible job, and yeah, like you said, I hope he gets a big break because he deserves it. And even like him being in like Sandman's last match.
Right?
That
He took a
that
hell of a
that
bump.
was super cool. Like he was with other people from Ontario, but like he deserved that.
For sure. And a lot of our friends there that are involved in Canadian Deathmatch and other independents in Ontario here, I truly hope they all get the recognition they deserve. I can only do this and hopefully point them into a new audience, and that audience takes them to a new audience. Just like you, we can
Yeah.
only give them so much platform and hope that it goes the way it needs to.
Yes.
But we're there supporting them. Um, you posted, I believe it was yesterday or the day before, that there's an opportunity arising for you.
Yes.
I would love to hear this because I was really intrigued as soon as I seen that.
Yes. So, uh, Matt is facing KJ Orso, who used to be Frederick the Soul. And I got really excited thinking that that was going to be a Dunville match, and it is not a Dunville match. It is an American match. So I got my passport, and I on August 8th I will be making my American backstage interviewing debut.
Hell yeah!
Which
Congratulations.
I'm super excited about. That was a goal that I've wanted to cross off since, especially this year. I just didn't know if I would be able to get a passport as quickly as I did, and the opportunity rose. And for some reason, I was still in the group chat for the show because we switched it from one show to the Pittsburgh show. And I was like, "Ooh, I'm still in the group. Nobody removed me." And then they were like, "Yeah, we would like it if you could get your passport and be in Pittsburgh." So I will be making my Um, Debut in Pittsburgh on August 8th at Slaughterhouse. I believe, I'm not sure the exact address, but it is going to be in Pittsburgh. And I will be on a show with KJ Orso and Mance Warner, which is pretty cool. And yeah, I haven't publicly announced that yet, but hopefully by the time this drops, it will be it will be announced. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going up with a bunch of the hybrid guys. I'm going up with I believe Wade Allen, Rush Rancid, Brian Samuels. So it's just gonna be like a fun little road trip. We call it the girls trip and Kai.
Heck.
The boys are all the boys are the girls, and then it's just Kai.
I love that.
Yeah.
So, excuse my ignorance. That's the company or the show?
Slaughterhouse is the show name. The promotions are Hybrid and which is the Dunville promotion. It's a collab show, so it's also collabed with 880 because
That's what I thought.
we often do collabs with 880 as well. So it's gonna be a collab show. I'm looking forward to it. A bunch of my friends have really cool matches, and I'm just super excited to be interviewing not in Ontario. It's gonna be
Well,
a big step.
now that I know that, I got to bug my buddies in the fourth line, aka Brandon St. James and Casey War, to make your job a little hard that night.
Oh man. Okay.
uh,
They
they're
honestly they definitely will.
I love those boys. They're really good. I love the hockey throwback to it as well. But
Yeah.
no, congratulations on that opportunity. That is huge. I
Thank
aspire
you.
to get to that point myself, but kudos to you, all your hard work. You're moving up. You're going crossing into the American scene, and I hope the sky's the limit for you there.
Thank you. I'm very excited.
So, besides going down to 880 in Pittsburgh, which is a great town from my understanding, what else you got on your agenda over the summer?
Honestly, not too much. I was supposed to go to a show tomorrow, but they canceled. They postponed until next month. So that's going to be an August thing now. And then that show will be the last for that promotion, which is kind of bittersweet because it is one of my local promotions, but they've been around for 23 years. So uh, they've they've basically done a really good job in the past. I think I've been going to them for year and a half, maybe about a year. So yeah, they've been doing pretty cool stuff. So it's kind of bittersweet to see them leave, but I am super grateful for all the things that all the opportunities that I haven't worked with them, but I've had some really fun memories with that promotion. So super sad to see them leave. Other than that, I don't think there's too much going on. I definitely want to plan a road trip to Ottawa for C4 for their cancer show. I think that's still a plan. Doing Barry Wrestling on the 25th because I will be up at the cottage that week. So that's gonna be my Nana's birthday present is I'm taking her to her first indie show with my mom, and
Hell
then
yeah, Nana.
yeah, I'm gonna get her, gonna hopefully get her hooked into my world. But and then August, there's not too much. Definitely want to check out the that one show. I believe it's at Battle Arts with Joseph Sawyer, the
Oh,
Canadian
I'm dating.
grapplers. Yeah, I want to go check them out because that looks like a hell of a card, and it's something that is definitely a bucket list show for me this summer. And yeah, just Pittsburgh, Ottawa, and then probably just that one or two random shows in August, and that's probably it.
Are are you going to? I'm not exactly sure which venue is hosting it. When Cross and Scarlet come to town, are you going?
I absolutely am. Yep, I have been waiting to see Cross and Scarlet wrestle in Canada. So yes, I will be going to Alpha One, and that is at the end of this month.
Yeah, and he's defending his MLW championship. I heard so.
Yes, against Jimmy Townsend.
Now,
Which
I'm going to bug you closer to that because unfortunately my schedule doesn't align and I really, really, really want to cross autographs. So maybe you can help me out with that.
I most likely can, because I will definitely be getting an autograph for myself too.
I would love just to have the two of them. I've messaged Cross a few times and we've corresponded a bit, but nothing has lined up just yet. So, which fair, he's a busy man. So,
Yeah, he's a very busy man. I think they're wrestling in Japan too, coming up or something. I saw. So him and Scarlett are very busy people right now. So like I said, super excited that they're coming to Canada, and uh, very excited. And me and Hope are very excited too.
yeah, Hope has been convincing me to try to go, and I'm like, I'd love to, but I got other engagements. She's like, just blow them off. I'm like, I can't. I'll get them next time, and I know it.
Yeah,
Uh,
no, super excited for that show. It's gonna be a good show, and it's a big opportunity for Jimmy Townsend as well. So I'm excited for that match.
for sure. Now, I haven't done this part before. This is something new I want to try to introduce, but especially when I get Americans. But I think that I'll start off with you. Would be great. What is your go-to order at a Tim Hortons?
Okay, so my close friends already know this, but it is a so it used to be a strawberry banana refresher. It's not now. Now it is usually just a plain bagel.
Okay.
Plain bagel as is, not toasted. Because I am plain and I am picky, and that is all I like.
Fair enough. Is hot dog a sandwich? There's no wrong answer. It's only opinion. So
I say no.
fair enough. Now, given the fact that you are pursuing this career in journalism, aka interviewing and wrestling, what is some advice you'd have for someone that maybe wants to start out just now at any age? What's advice you'd give them?
If I could give advice, I would just say go for it. Like I started doing TikToks and silly. I just started filming my friends' matches, and then it just became a thing, and it just got me really cool opportunities. So I say, uh, just do it basically, and but also when you're starting out, like don't be weird kind of thing, because like I've seen people like try to make content and they are kind of just weird about it, like they make really weird edits and stuff, so I'm like, don't do that. But like if you just film their matches and like post like, I don't know, like a cool audio or something over it, but like don't make, like I've seen where people will make edits of wrestlers and then post like interesting song choices. And I'm like, you don't need to be making like edits of wrestlers with like, I like to call it thirst trap music. So like
Yeah.
don't do that. But like if you film their match, like post it on YouTube, like post their social media links so people can follow them. Share it on social media, tag the accounts, tag the promotion that that match was taking place at, and if you just keep doing that, I'm sure really cool opportunities will come up. And that's basically how I got my foot in the door.
And that's exactly it. And that's how I got my foot in the door with Canadian Deathmatch. They've given me opportunities to talk to Wade Allen, Brandon St. James, Casey War, Hardcore, etc. It's really opened that door. And like you, make sure you like for me personally, even though I already had permission from Sean, Dylan, and Maddie, before every show, I record a lot of stuff on my phone. I say, "Are you cool if I post?" Because I don't want to post anything without permission, and I do it every show. And I'm pretty sure I annoy Sean with that now. But I just do it. All he asks is don't post finishes and don't post full length matches. That's
Yeah.
his. That's all he's asked of me. Not a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, but with that being said, I am so grateful that you gave me an hour of your time, and I appreciate the conversation. And I look forward to seeing you in a few weeks at Sneaky D's at New Noise. It's
Yes.
gonna be Um, but before I let you go, is there anything you want to promote, your socials or anything like that? By all means, go ahead and promote that now.
Yeah, so my Instagram is Kai Elizabeth. We will link that below because it has many different I's and H's and everything
Oh,
because I'm extra. I have Twitter, which I also believe is either Kai Elizabeth or it's King Kai 19. I don't know. I don't really use Twitter much anymore, but once I find that, we can link that. I am gonna promote my next upcoming shows. We have UCW, which is August 15th at the Royal Canadian Legion in Etobicoke. We have a stacked card. We have Jody Threat. We have Layla Wild. We have coming from Australia. We have Shay Cassidy. So we're gonna have both backside girls, Shay Cassidy and Kingsley. And we are going to be crowning our first champion, which I am super excited about. We also have an upcoming hybrid show, I believe in September. Can definitely get a date. I believe it's September 5th, but can double check with Will. And I believe right now that is it. MCW, we are currently waiting on a date. So as soon as I get that date, we can definitely promote that. And then if anybody lives in the Pittsburgh area, we are having our August 8th show, which is Slaughterhouse. And like I said, we have Mance Warner, MV Young, KJ Orso, Matt Grant, Brian Samuels, Reese Hayes, Alex Gagne, Wade Allen. So a whole bunch of really cool people. So if anybody in the Pittsburgh area wants to check that out, it is August 8th. I believe it is at, I want to say 7 o'clock. I also could be wrong. But those are my upcoming shows and my socials.
awesome. Again, super grateful for your time, Kai, and I really appreciate hammering out a time with you. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, any show at the indie scene in your local area that you can go and support, by if you can, by any means, please do. The indie scene is an intimate experience you'll never forget. You're so immersed in the action. The wrestlers are communicated with you during the intermissions. It's not like WWE, it's not like AEW, it's not like TNA. Just go and enjoy yourself. Make sure you support the indie. Make sure you support the indie wrestlers. Make sure you're supporting people like Kai, who is working their butt off in the industry and making things happen. Um, with that being said, this has been the ShadowSphere. Good night.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.